Hi, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Kathy Wang, and I'm a clinical social worker at the Edward and Pearl Fine Memory and Aging Center at University of California, San Francisco. I want to start by acknowledging the tremendous work that you caregivers do. Caring for someone, especially someone living with progressive condition like PSP, CBD, or MSA, is one of the most meaningful roles a person can take on. And it's also incredibly hard. It asks more of you emotionally, physically, spiritually than most people will ever understand. Today, I'd like to share with you what mindfulness really is, why it matters, and how it can support you in the middle of the daily realities of caregiving. I hope that you walk away with new tools you can use anytime, whether you're helping with mobility, managing appointments, or simply trying to catch your breath between tasks. But before we begin, I'd like to invite you to take a brief moment to pause together with a simple 1-minute mindfulness practice to help you settle into this space. Please get comfortable in a seated position. And if it feels right to you, please close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow inhale and then an easy exhale. Feel your feet pressing into the floor. Feel the chair supporting you. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice any sound in the room. Let your breath be steady and natural. With each exhale, imagine settling a little more into your body. Lower your shoulders, soften your hands. Take one more grounding breath and exhale. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. Welcome back. Let's talk about mindfulness-based stress reduction. What is it? This is created by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn at University Mass Medical Center in the early 1970s. There are 3 components of MBSR. One is mindfulness meditation, focusing on being present, on purpose, in the moment, without judgment. Second is body awareness, focusing on the physical sensation in your body. And 3 is having self-compassion, embracing kindness toward yourself and support your feelings with understanding. A lot of people think mindfulness means clearing your mind or feeling calm. And that is true, but that's not actually the goal. The goal is having awareness. Awareness of what's happening inside you, your emotion, your feeling, your fatigue, as well as what's happening around you. This matters because when caregiving becomes overwhelming, the mind tends to jump into the future, thinking, what if she falls again? Or replaying the past, such as, I could have done it better. I could have handled that better. Mindfulness helps bring you back to actually what is happening at that moment. Why do caregivers need mindfulness? Well, Caregiving, especially when supporting someone living with PSP, CBD, or MSA, brings a unique kind of stress because the roles and responsibilities never quite stop. There's constant planning, appointments, symptom management, and hands-on support with daily tasks. You're supporting someone who depends on you for so much, and your own needs often get pushed aside. You may notice your body is always on alert, even during the quiet moments. You may carry some grief, even if you don't talk about it, because you're witnessing a loved one lose abilities. And you may feel moments of frustration or guilt, even when you're doing everything you can. These demands can take a real toll on your overall well-being, and that's why caring for yourself matters. Mindfulness offers caregivers a way to connect with yourself so you're not running on empty. Mindfulness helps you pause before you react. It can give caregivers a brief moment of space so that you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. For example, if your loved one with PSP becomes frustrated during dressing, instead of being absorbed with that frustration, take one steady breath and then approach with calm reassurance. Mindfulness reduces stress in the body. As mentioned, caregiving keeps the nervous system on high alert at times. And mindfulness helps your body to settle, even for a few seconds. If after helping with a difficult transfer, for example, you might notice your shoulders are tight or your back is kind of hurting, you can take 3 mindful breaths, and hopefully that can help your body to soften. Mindfulness strengthens your ability to stay steady during unpredictable moments. It increases patience and gives you emotional resilience. When your loved one with MSA needs extra time to speak or swallow, mindfulness can help you to slow down with them instead of feeling rushed or overwhelmed. It supports you to have clear thinking and decision-making abilities. As we all know, stress can cloud judgment, and with mindfulness practice, it brings mental clarity. If you're about to call the neurologist, for example, take the time to pause, breathe, and check in with what's happening to you in your body. That way you can process exactly what you want to communicate to the neurologist. Mindfulness helps you notice your own needs a little sooner. Caregivers often forget to take care of their own health. Mindfulness helps you to tune into it. If you notice you're holding your breath or clenching your jaw while coordinating appointments or managing care, taking a breath can remind you to perhaps take a short break, or maybe you need to drink some water. Mindfulness reduces feelings of guilt and self-criticism. It encourages a kinder, more compassionate inner voice you can provide to yourself. On days when you feel irritable or a bit stretched, you can gently acknowledge to yourself by taking a breath or have a little script or mantra saying, This is hard, and I'm doing my best. This is a little bit of science behind mindfulness that we've already touched upon, and I'll briefly just go through them. Mindfulness activates a part of the brain that helps regulate emotions, think clearly under pressure, and helps you make good decisions. It also calms part of the brain that's responsible for fear, stress, and reactivity. Research shows that regular mindfulness lowers cortisol and blood pressure, improves mood and sleep, increases resilience in patients, reduces anxiety, and supports immune function. Excuse me. Here are some simple mindful approaches to support your everyday caregiving routine. Mindful breathing. It's taking those short pauses wherever you're at to just check in with yourself. You could be standing in line at the pharmacy or the grocery store, in the waiting room, or in the car, in traffic, and just taking those short breaths. A suggestion is inhaling for 4 counts, holding your breath for 4 counts, and then exhaling for 4 counts or more. You could be pausing at an entryway or doorway as another mindfulness practice. Notice what the emotion is before you enter that room, that hallway. Using the door or even an elevator as a cue to check in with how are you feeling? Bring attention to how your body feels and focus on the sensation rather than the story or the emotion behind it. Why am I feeling this way? Will this happen later like last time? Mindfulness helps you to stay in the moment. In regards to touch and connection, during hands-on care, try noticing the warmth of your hands, the pace of your movements, and the humanity in the moment. And practice bringing your full attention to the person you care for and focus on the experience, not just personal care, but when having a meal together, a conversation together, or playing a board game. Just really soaking up that time together and not be distracted about that phone call you have to make later or running to the store later. When helping with someone with standing, transferring, or walking, slowing your breath helps your body stay steady and reduces the instinct for your body to tense up. A calm body supports safer movement for both of you and helping to prevent injuries. If after a challenging moment or a stressful moment, take a few deep breaths to help reset and avoid rushing to the next task. Mindful eating, which you might have heard before, is paying close attention to the smell, the taste, texture, and color of the food. Some caregivers I've spoken with will wake up a little earlier when their loved ones are still sleeping, and they'll enjoy their cup of coffee with their pet, or maybe just sitting outside in nature. When you are practicing mindful walking, pay close attention to each step, the sensations in your feet, the sound that it makes when your feet is touching the ground, your body's movement, and your surroundings. Self-compassion moments are needed because caregiving can sometimes bring up frustration or resentment. When those feelings come up, take a few moments to acknowledge them and recognize how hard the situation is. Give yourself the okay to feel what you're feeling. You can also say to yourself as a mantra or a script that this is really tough, or I know I'm not alone in feeling this, or I can treat myself with love and care. By increasing your awareness of your emotions, it helps you to start regulating them. I learned about this STOP acronym while working as a facilitator with the Zen Caregiving Project in their pilot caregiver training program. And I think it's a really helpful tool. You want to try and use the STOP method when you are stressed. S stands for stop what you're doing. Pause and check in with how you're feeling, even for a few seconds. Then take a deep, slow, full breath. Let your attention rest on that breath and feel your body moving with it. To support this movement, you can also say to yourself, just breathing. I'm here. O stands for observe what's going on. Look at what's inside and around you. And kind of report to yourself the moment that you're in. So for example, you can say, I'm sitting. The room feels warm. I feel tense, or I feel tired. This awareness itself helps to create a space between you and the stress of the moment. P stands for proceed. Proceed with your task with this new awareness. Having a clear sense of how you're feeling and what you need without feeling as overwhelmed is a good thing. Now, we want to see if there's time for another and a longer meditation. Let me check in with Courtney. Okay, let's see.
Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Great.
now.
Do you do want to do a longer meditation?
I have a 3-minute
Great.
meditation.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, please settle in and get comfortable in the position that you're in. And if it feels comfortable, allow your eyes to close or soften your gaze. Take a slow breath in and a long, easy breath out. Begin by imagining a soft, warm light just above your head. A gentle glow like morning sunlight filtering through a window. And this light is here to support you, to bring ease to the parts of you that work so hard. Imagining this warm light slowly touching the top of your head. As it moves down, notice your forehead, your eyes, your jaw. Let everything soften just a little. Feel the light gently flowing over your neck and shoulders, the places that hold so much of your caregiving effort. Within each exhale, let a bit of that weight melt away. Let the light move into your chest, warming the space around your heart. This is your center of care, compassion, and strength. Allow the light to bring ease and spaciousness here. As it travels down your arms to your hands, imagining it softening the places that hold, comfort, and support others. Let your hands rest gently, bathed in warmth. Feel the warm light moving to your abdomen, letting the belly relax. Then to your lower back and hips, reminding them they don't have to hold everything right now. Let it drift down your legs, your thighs, knees, and calves, all the way to your feet, grounding you, steady and supported. Picture the warm light surrounding your whole body now. A gentle cocoon of ease you can return to any time. Take one slow inhale and a long exhale. Now, wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And welcome back. Briefly, I want to note, as caregivers, you give a lot of your time, energy, and heart. And this practice won't remove the hard moments, but I hope it can help you meet them with a bit more steadiness and softness towards yourself. Even one slow breath or a brief pause when you're washing your hands can make a meaningful difference. Thank you for all that you do and for taking the moment for yourself today. I have some resources I would like to share with you. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, Kathy. Yeah. Do we have time for some questions if that's okay with you?
Sure.
Great. Okay. I just have kind of two questions. The first one is if you have somebody who is maybe skeptical of meditation, maybe they think, that's not me, that's kind of hippie. Do you have any thoughts or recommendations on how they can kind of wade into it with that kind of skepticism in mind?
Sure. I think we practice some form of mindfulness every day, but we just don't call it that, or we're not aware that that's what we're doing. So, for example, if we are brushing our teeth, that's a little form of mindfulness. If we slow down, um, that might be helpful to be in the moment. When we are driving, that's a little bit of form of mindfulness as well. We're in our own space driving. So if someone is skeptical or, yeah, might think it's a little hippie or woo-woo, know that you already are practicing a little bit of it, and to find tools that can help you kind of incorporate it into what you're already doing, such as driving
Mhm.
or brushing your teeth. Um, Hopefully that answers
It does.
some
Yeah, I
questions.
also think that's really lovely because people with the diagnosis and their care partners are already feeling busy and
Yeah.
burnt out. And so it's lovely that, it doesn't have to be a carved out space in your day, but it can be. And actually, Kathy, that pertains really well to our first session today, which was a panel. And we had Tom, who is a care partner of someone with MSA, and he has incorporated a mindfulness practice that he still maintains every day. And he swore by it. So this is great to have you join us and say the same thing. And the second thing I wanted to ask, and I just think it's something nice to elaborate on, is mindfulness something that you can get better at? And can you practice it and kind of improve that?
Hmm. Yes, and it's very subjective. Um, and there's so many options as mentioned today in regards to what mindfulness means to each individual.
Mhm.
So, for example, in the resource page, these applications sometimes, I'll speak to Insight Timer because I use it. There are walking meditations you can take with you and listen as you're walking. There's also these meditations for sleep. The Zen Caregiver Project, they have um, caregiver groups that you can do together live. So I think when it comes to improving, it's quite subjective. It's what does that look like? Is it meditating longer? Is it meditating frequently? Or is it meditating with different tools to help you stay connected and grounded with yourself? And I think that's the most important thing, just having awareness of how you're feeling and how to better yourself, especially as a caregiver. And if it's someone who's living with PSP, CBD, or MSA, it's also how they can be present with where they're at in their lives.
Yeah, actually, my next question was going to be about people with PSP, CBD, or MSA. Are there suggestions you have to kind of tailor that to specifically somebody who's experiencing this bodily symptoms and how they can incorporate mindfulness, either including those symptoms or in spite of, or either way, if you have any insight on that for those who are listening?
Mm-hmm. There are some meditations that's for chronic illness or people experiencing pain that they can listen to. At the same time, if there's a family member or friends, or the person can practice on their own, there's also the touch and the connection that they can do together, which is hand holding. There's a lot of also like massages that they can each do on their own or on each other, hand massages or feet massages. That's also a nice mindfulness type of practice. Um, Breathing is probably the crux of mindfulness. And if you take the time to a, if you take the time to have a steady, deep breath, just for that 1 or 2 seconds, that's something enough to tell your body that you can kind of let go,
Yeah.
present.
Hmm. Yeah, and I keep connecting threads through our sessions today, but we had our last session was on self-compassion, and we talked about moving from fight, flight, or freeze and into self-compassion. And so I think that's a beautiful tie-in of, sometimes all it takes is a couple deep breaths to remind yourself of self-compassion, and you don't need to be in that fight, flight, or freeze. And so I appreciate you kind of embodying how this would work and how people can transition from that stage, from the defense stage, as we call it, into the care stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the questions we have, but if you have anything else to add, we'd love to hear it. Um,
No, just thank you for weaving all that, Heather Courtney. It was beautifully done. And also thank you for allowing me to just be here today. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
really appreciate your time. It's great to see you as always, and we appreciate having the conversation about meditation and mindfulness and well-being. So thanks for being here today, Kathy.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.